Hello. In our Alma 205 class today, we're going to look at an overview and introduction to acquisitions configuration. I'm logged in as Kathy Owen, my acquisitions librarian. Kathy has authorization to access the acquisitions configuration menu. And we can see here on the screen that we have various tables and options for configuring elements within the acquisition module of Alma. I'm going to start by looking at the import profiles. If we import records from vendors, we need to define elements related to the import profile so that we are sure to get the records in the way that we want to. So we can see here that we have a number of profiles defined. I'm going to look at the YBP profile, so I'll click from the Actions menu on the Edit option. So we're looking at a profile record. We start with parameters related to the profile details, the name of the profile, a description. We can define the originating system. We can define the physical source format, whether it's in Mark 21 XML or binary. And we can define how we want to get these files, if it's going to be via FTP or if we are going to be uploading them. The next tab, we have the option of defining normalization and validation. What do we want to do with records that come from a particular vendor? For example, we might want to correct the data using vendor fields 980, 981, and 993. And we can see that we have a number of options of defining how we want to normalize records coming from a particular source. We also can define an exception profile, but let's move on to the match profile. What do we want to do with records if they are matched in our system? And we can see here the options for defining different match profiles for serials and for non-serial material. And we have an option, for example, of defining on the of matching on the ISSN or on the OCLC number, and the same exists for the non-serial option. And then we have here this section which defines match actions. If a record is matched in the system, what should we do? Should we import it, not import it, merge or overlay? How should this be handled, automatically or manually? And we can define various merge methods. If we come to the next tab, we can define information about the management tags. Do we want to synchronize with OCLC? Do we want to only publish holdings or only publish bibliographic records? And do we want to suppress these records from publishing to our discovery tool? The following tab defines information about the inventory. And here we can see that we have the option of being able to map a field. For example, the 949 field, we can define what the material type will be as a default. We can define that the location field should be taken from subfield T of the 949 field, the default library, the default location, the number of items should be taken from subfield O. We can also see that we are defining either physical or electronic material as part of the profile. So of course it is important to mention that any number of profiles can be defined, and even a number of profiles could be defined for the same vendor if we want to make differentiations based on the type of material we'll be getting from the vendor. So we have defined information about the inventory, about the copy information that will be created, and we can also define parameters related to the purchase order line information. So the parameters that will be created if I bring in information from my vendor, we can see the various subfields that will be used to create the price information, the line field information, and the fund distribution information and percentage. So this concludes our brief overview of configuring acquisitions in Alma.